Good morning, students. Today we will be continuing the last session called Force on a Moving Charge in a Magnetic Field. And today's part you can consider as the actual start of this chapter according to your NEET exam level. Let me draw a simple basic diagram about which the complete discussion of today's session will be there. Let's see. It's a so simple diagram. There is a magnetic field. I'm just drawing a constant magnetic field. So this is the constant magnetic field. Carefully. For your better understanding, I'm just drawing so much constant magnetic field region. Here the field lines are moving into the plane or out of the plane. Tell me, here the field lines are moving into the plane or out of the plane. 100% the field lines are moving into the plane. So that is what this representation, right? A constant magnetic field lines where the field lines are moving into the plane. So I am writing that also. So this is B, which is magnetic field lines are so magnetic field where field lines are moving inside the plane or you can say into the plane. No problem at all. Now, what is other concept? Force on a moving charge. I have a charge which is having the magnitude Q. The magnitude of the charge Q. So I have Q is the charge. Alright. This is the charge Q is moving with a velocity in this magnetic field. Maybe parallel to the magnetic field lines or perpendicular to the magnetic field lines or at any angle with the magnetic field lines. So what I can write V is velocity or speed of moving charge, and I can also write theta is the angle between what? Angle between velocity and magnetic field. Both are vector quantities. You should understand this. So magnitude of velocity and magnitude of magnetic field I have written here. So this is what all the four physical quantities I have written. You know, when a charge is moving in a magnetic field, the force due to the magnetic field of the charge will be. What is the force due to the magnetic field of the charge? F is equal to Q V B sine theta. This is what the magnitude. Okay. And this is force, right? How to find the direction of the force? Direction of the force we can find by using Fleming's left hand rule or right hand palm rule. Okay. So here, this is the magnitude, and here itself I am writing here. So the direction you can find by using Fleming's left hand rule. That's introduction, right? Let's start. Let us take, see, I told you there is a charge Q. The charge you can project into this magnetic field parallel to the field lines, perpendicular to the field lines, opposite to the field lines, and at any angle to the field line. One by one, case by case, we need to discuss now. So let us start. The first case of the session is case 1. So simple session we will be starting. So simple case. With this simple case we will be starting today's session. Let's take the theta value is 0. What is meant by theta is 0? Listen to me carefully. So this is the charge I have. Imagine. This is the charge I have. So what is theta? Theta is angle between V and B. So that indicates there is no angle between V and B. Both are parallel to each other. The motion of the charge and the magnetic field lines are parallel to each other. So that indicates in this way you can see here. So I have a charge. Already the magnetic field lines are into No, I have projected the charge parallel to magnetic field lines. What is the angle between them? Theta is 0. What happens in this case? So the force experienced by this moving charge, which is equal to Q V B sine theta is 0 degrees. Sine 0 is 0. Sine 180 is 0. Understand? So theta is 0 degrees or theta is 180 degrees. The similar situation takes place, right? So I am writing here, and when F is equal to Q V B sine 180 degrees also, the similar situation takes place. So what is the similar situation? So force acting on the moving charge by the magnetic field is 0. Force acting on the moving charge by the magnetic field is 0 because theta is 0 or 180. When force is 0, I told you in the last class, acceleration of the particle also will be 0. When acceleration is 0, we can consider that the body is moving with constant velocity or constant speed. No confusion at all. When the body is moving in a straight line without turning back, its speed and velocities are same. Okay, this is what your 11th standard or the 9th standard topic. Do not get confused with speed and velocity here, right? So come back to this point. So the force on a moving charge is 0. So that means acceleration is 0. So that indicates constant speed the body is moving. Is there any deflection in this case? No. When there is no force, how come the deflection takes place? When you project a charge in the direction of magnetic field, it moves parallel to it. It moves parallel to the magnetic field lines without any deflection. Remember, because force is not at all acting on it, you can see. Then how come the deflection? You got it? Clear? So now, the better way of understanding this case, right, without using this diagram, and just writing the diagram also here, because yesterday's class we had learned the same thing. So let's see. So these are the magnetic field lines. These are the magnetic field lines. Carefully see. Magnetic field lines. So B, magnetic field lines. So there is a charge Q which is projected with a velocity here. What is the angle here? Theta is 0. The angle between motion of the charge and the B is 0. Theta is 0. This is called this first 0 degree case. In this way it will be, right? So because here magnetic field lines are moving into the plane, right? We cannot represent it 100%. So that's what the 100% representation is this way, right? So this charge will be moving parallel to the magnetic field without any deflection. Okay. Now 180 degrees case is also so simple. So here magnetic field lines are here. This is magnetic field. Now what happened? The charge Q is projected in this way. You can see here. The charge Q is projected in the opposite direction of magnetic field. So what is the angle between magnetic field and motion of the charge? It is 180 degrees. 180 degrees for sure. So in this 180 degrees case also, will there be any deflection produced by this moving charge? No. No, right? So this is what? The constant speed, the particle will be moving without any deflection. Okay? Clear? Now, 180 degrees case I just explained here. Look at it. Magnetic field lines are moving into the plane, right? Imagine you have a charge, you went to the other side and projected it. So magnetic field lines are moving towards you, you have projected opposite to the magnetic field lines direction. So this is what this is. You are here projecting a charge and the magnetic field lines are opposite to you. So the angle between motion of the charge and the magnetic field lines is 180 degrees. Okay, clear? Now, the most important case of this concept is 90 degrees. Most important, 90 degrees. And lot of interpretations, a lot of understanding we will be doing while explaining, while understanding the case at 90 degrees. right? So look at here. So case 2, I'm writing here. Case 2. Theta is 90 degrees. Theta is 90 degrees. What does it mean? So the charge is projected. Charge is projected perpendicular to the field, that's called 90 degrees. You can see here. Let's understand the same situation here. So a charge we are going to project perpendicular to it. So definitely here the magnetic field lines are into the plane, right? Imagine this is the magnetic field. So I am projecting the charge in this way. Look at here. So this is the magnetic field lines. I am just projecting the charge in this way. Okay, so you can see here, so the angle is 90 degrees. Understand? So here the magnetic field lines are moving into the plane. I have just projected a charge Q with a velocity V perpendicular. You can see here the field lines. Here I have projected perpendicular to that. What happens in this case? The most important and interesting part of the class. Now. Here, what we should understand in the first case, the particle is moving in a straight line path. At 0 and 180 degrees, I am writing here, so the particle or the charge will continue to move in a straight line path. And you know, here, the interesting thing, at 90 degrees case, the charge will move in a circular path. Remember, the charge will move in a circular path. Here in a straight line path. How come it moves in a circular path? And most of the students will be failing to understand. They just by heart to fail. They then fail to understand the reason behind the circular path of this charge in a magnetic field. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn? Look at it. I have just projected the charge. Magnetic field lines are moving into the plane. I have just projected the charge in this way. What happens you can see? So the charge will be moving in here, for example. The charge will be moving in this way. At this point, the motion of the charge. So imagine it's a positive charge. Okay, positive charge you can consider as the direction of current. Okay. So direction of current is in this way. Magnetic field lines are in the perpendicular to that. Force acting on a moving charge in a magnetic field. You can apply the concept of Fleming's left hand rule I told you. In which direction the force acts? There is a force. There is a force. What is that force? What is that force? Because F is equal to QVB sine 90 degrees. Sine 90 degrees is 1. So what I can write? So F is equal to QVB. Look at here. Yesterday's class we have discussed the maximum force will be acting on the body by the magnetic field. So this is what I can write. The maximum force is acting on the moving charge by the magnetic field. That's there. When force is there, it has magnitude Q into V into B, and it will also have the direction because force is a vector quantity. Okay, are you following? So force is a vector quantity, it's a magnitude. What's the direction? The direction we can identify by using Fleming's left hand rule or right hand palm rule. Okay, I told you the right hand palm rule is so easy and important to solve the numericals and to understand the questions like this. Right? So now let us see. So this is the motion of the charge. Yes or no? At this point, so motion of the charge, that means motion of the current which is represented with the thumb direction in right hand palm rule. Okay, in right hand palm rule, you see this is the direction of current and the stretched four fingers are the direction of magnetic field lines they are represented. Okay, in right hand thumb rule, right hand palm rule, you stretch all these four fingers which are stretched are to be pointed in the direction of magnetic field at this point, and the thumb must point So at this point you can see I adjust my stretched fingers and the thumb in the direction of current and in the direction of magnetic field, and my force direction on the charge is upwards. Look at it. At this point the force is acting upwards. Upwards. Look at here. Force is acting upwards. But already this charge is having some amount of inertia of motion. Immediately, because of the force is in upward direction, immediately it will not turn in upward direction. Okay? Immediately it will not take the upward direction. It will take slowly the upward motion in this way. Got the point? Now, at this point, so motion of the charge is in this direction. This is what the motion of the current, and the magnetic field lines are like this. Careful. Magnetic field lines are into the plane. Okay. And motion of the charge, positive charge direction is upwards. So at this point, what I can write the force direction. See here, force direction is left side. So here, this is the force direction. I can say it's a force direction. Here also, the charge is in inertia of motion. It wants to go in this direction, but the force is acting in this direction. Immediately, the charge will not move in the force direction, right? Because of inertia of motion, it will try to move towards the force direction. So, but it will move in this way. Understand? So, this is what the point. At this point, again, the charge wanted to move in this direction. Fleming's left hand rule or right hand palm rule. Here the motion of the charge and here the magnetic field lines. So are you understanding? So motion of the charge in this side and the magnetic field lines, and you see the face of the palm is acting downwards and force acting here will be the downwards. What is this force? Magnetic force. Remember, magnetic force on a moving charge. So here also, because of inertia of motion, so it will be moving somehow in this way. Okay. Right? Here also we can see the same thing. So the force will be acting like this, and here it will finish the circular part. Okay. Is it simple? So simple, you just practice it once. What happened? Is it the proof that a charge is projected perpendicular to the field, it will take a circular path? Yes, it is taking a circular path. With a force what? Force is equal to QB, which is the maximum force. And you understand what is that force here. At each and every point in a circular path, the force is acting towards the center. If a body is moving in a circular path, there is the force is necessary, which will make the body to move in a circular path and directed towards the center of the circle. What is that force called? Is that the force called centripetal force? Yes. In reality, there is no centripetal force actually. The centripetal force is always provided with some other force. For example, the planets are revolving around the sun. The centripetal force provided here by the gravitational force of attraction among them or between them. Right? Clear? Imagine there is a stick and a stone is connected to a thread, and the other end is connected to this stick, and you are just whirling the stone. When you are whirling the stone, here also the stone is taking a circular path. There is no centripetal force actually here, but the centripetal force is provided by the tension in the string. Okay, clear? So here also the centripetal force is necessary for a body to move in a circular path, but here that centripetal force is provided with what? Provided by what? Provided by the magnetic force. Understand? So as the body is taking in a circular path, so I am writing here centripetal force is mv squared by the radius of the circle. You can see here, if this is the center of the circle and I am writing R is the radius of the circle, M is mass of a moving charge, V is with what velocity the charge is moving. Here itself we can write R is radius of the circle, M is mass of a moving charge. Very important concept for the NEET exam, remember. M is equal to mass of a moving charge. Now this is centripetal force, right? So this is centripetal force, and I've told you clearly the centripetal force is provided with this magnetic force in this case. So not only in this case, in any case, centripetal force is always provided with some other force. So what is that? I can equate this to. So this is what I am going to equate now. So carefully just go through it. mv square by r, which is equal to qbb. Sin theta is sin 90. Sin 90 is 1. Okay. So here 1v and v cancels here. So from here what I can write? So this r is equal to r. I am taking to this side. Qb will come here. R is equal to mv by qb. Very important formula. How the questions can be asked in this way? Listen carefully. When magnetic field is uniform and velocity of the charge is also uniform, then what I can write? See here. So I can write this R is directly proportional to m by q. Can I write like this? When V and B are constants. So like this the questions will be asked. M value there will be two charges of masses and charge value is also given, right? So you can find the ratios R1 by R2 is equal to M1 by M2 into Q2 by Q1. So like that the questions will be asked, right? So here, so for your better understanding, let me write R1 by R2 is equal to M1 by M2 into Q2 by Q1. Okay, just substituting those charges. That's it. So now let's understand the same equation. So here mass into velocity, which is called linear momentum. Yes sir? Mass into velocity, it's a linear momentum. So what I can write? So R is equal to, so linear momentum by Q into B. Alright. Sometimes the question can be asked. Linear momentum is constant, uniform magnetic field. So here I am writing. So linear momentum is constant, uniform magnetic field. And I can write R is inversely proportional to Q. R1 by R2 is equal to Q2 by Q1 because P and B are constants. It's mentioned. Got the point? Now, from here, we can write the linear momentum in terms of kinetic energy. So R is equal to 2m into kinetic energy divided by QB, right? In the plus 1, you might have learned linear momentum is equal to square root 2m into kinetic energy. Understand? Kinetic energy is equal to E square by 2m from there. Okay. Here also, when kinetic energy is constant, when B is constant, you can write the rest of the things. Understand? So like this, the numericals will be asked. And we will be learning this formula separately. So don't worry about it. Right? So let us start. This is about the radius of the circular path. If they ask you to find and to solve a problem related to the radius of the circular path, and this is how we should proceed. Okay. Now, let us see the concept called time period. What is it? Time period. Time period. What is this time period here? Time period is equal to, I am talking about a circular path, right? 2 pi r by v. Can I write like this? Time period is equal to 2 pi r by v. 2 pi r is circumference of the circle, which is is called distance traveled by speed, which is equal to time. So here, what I can write, 2 pi by v into what is r? Radius of the circular path. The basic formula we have is mv by qb. So v gets cancelled, and time period is equal to 2 pi m by qb. And what is frequency here? So frequency is equal to 1 by time period, which is equal to qb by 2 pi m. Okay? Clear? So as it is moving in a circular path, I can also find the angular velocity, right? So linear velocity and angular velocity. So I can write here, so v is equal to r into omega. Okay, so from here, so what I can write, omega is equal to v by r. So v into 1 by r. 1 by r, I can write here what is 1 by r. R is equal to mv by qb. 1 by r is equal to qb by mv. So v cancels here. So qb by m. So angular velocity is equal to qb by m. Radius of the circular path, time period of the circle, and angular velocity of the particle moving in a circular path. Okay, listen here. A very important point. Two very important points we are going to discuss here. Two very important points. Number one, listen. Only the radius of the circular path will be depending on velocity of a moving charge. Radius of the circular path is depending on the velocity of the moving. Time period, frequency, angular velocity are not at all depending on velocity of a moving charge. You see their equations. In time period, is there any physical quantity related to velocity of the moving charge? No. In frequency, is there any physical quantity related to the velocity of the moving charge? No. Here, in angular velocity, is there any physical quantity related to moving charge velocity? No. But radius of the circular path, mv by 2b, v is there, which is the velocity of a moving charge. Are you understanding? It's the first point. Time period, angular velocity, frequency will not be depending on velocity of a moving charge, but they depend on the concept called specific charge. What is that? What is the concept called? Time period, frequency, omega. So they depend on specific charge. So what is meant by the specific charge? Specific charge. Charge per unit mass, q by m. You can see here, time period is depending on m by q or q by m. Reciprocal of the specific charge is m by q. That's it. So d is equal to m by q, f is equal to q by m, and omega is also q by m. You can see here. They are not depending on the velocity of the moving charge. Exactly speaking, they are depending on specific charge. Okay. Clear? First point. And the second point. You might have learned this in +1 or you might have missed it. Listen carefully. Commonly asked question in one of the NEET exam also this question is asked. Theoretically. A particle is taking a circular path in this way. Which among the following quantities will remain unchanged? Remember, any body taking circular path, all vector quantities will remain changed because at each and every point in the circular path, the direction will be represented with the tangent. Yes or no? The direction is keep on changing at each and every point in the circular path, because the vector quantities will have direction, all vector quantities will change. See, vectors will have both magnetic and direction. Even the direction changes, you can say the quantity change. Okay? So what you should understand, any body moving in a circular path, all vector quantities changes. What are the vector quantities? Vector quantities are like velocity, acceleration, momentum. So those are called vector quantities which will change. The vector quantities. Scalar quantities will not change because the direction is not changing. Magnitude remains same. For example, take in this case the velocity and the speed. Velocity can be considered as a changing quantity, but speed we cannot say it is changing because direction is changing. That's the reason velocity is changing. Speed will not have direction, so speed will be remains constant. So all vector quantities will be changing in a circular motion, but the scalar quantities will remain same. You know what are the scalar quantities here? So I can say it is speed, energy. Speed and energy are scalar quantities in a circular path. They will not change. The energy may be, it's a kinetic energy also, whatever may be the energy. So they are remains constant. All the vector quantities will be changing. Okay. So now you may get it out. If I project a charge other than 90 degrees, what happens? Other than 0, 180, 90, what will happen? So that's the concept we will be discussing now. When your angle of projection is not 0, 180 or even 90, what happens? In which way the particle travels, we'll discuss. And before that, you know already, when you project a charge parallel to magnetic field or anti-parallel to magnetic field, it was moving in a straight line without any deflection. Yes or no? Yes. Second, when you project a charge perpendicular to the magnetic field, it took a circular path with the radius mv by qb, time period 2 pi n by qb, frequency qb by 2 pi m, and angular velocity is just qb by m. Okay. So with these parameters, the particle took a circular path. It's clear? Now, other than that diagram is so simple. So look at here. What exactly is this? So there is a magnetic field. This is the magnetic field. A charge is projected in this way. You can see here it's a charge. So projected in this way. So this is the angle here. You can see. This is the angle here. So this is the velocity. The angle between magnetic field and velocity of the charge is theta. It is not 0, it is not 180, it is not 90 even. Okay. So how you will be understanding this case, in which path the particle takes. So I am just writing here itself. So the moving charge will take a helical path. It is also an important and interesting, but the most important part of this session is 90 degrees only. Okay, so the charge will take a helical path now. What is meant by helical path? Let's understand now. This is the magnetic field, right? What happens? A charge is projected in this way. Clear? This is the charge is projected at an angle theta. This is the velocity. We can resolve into the two components because one component will be moving along the magnetic field. It is like our 0 degree space. And another component will be acting perpendicular to the magnetic field lines. It is like our 90 degree space. Both are mixed both are mixed here. So this is V sin theta. So what I can write, V cos theta is parallel to the magnetic field when the motion of the charge is parallel to magnetic field. What happened? So particle, we already know that in this case. In this case, we already know that the charge moves in straight line path. Yes or no? The charge moves in straight line path. So, because of this V cos theta component, the charge will move in a straight line. That is there. Now, this component is also there. Okay. So, I am writing here V sin theta is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Perpendicular to the magnetic field. So, in this case, what happened? We already know that. I am writing here. We already know that. What we know? We already know that what? So, the charge will take a circular path. I hope you remember. The charge will take a circular path when it is projected perpendicular to the field. Charge will move in a straight line path when it is moving parallel to it. When it is projected parallel to it. So, this is the combination. Can I say that this is the combination? Is the mixture of straight line motion and the circular motion. Because of one component, it is moving parallel. Because of another component, it is moving circular. Okay, see here, circular. So, how the particle motion will be? So, it's quite interesting part. You can see here. So, the particle motion will be like this. You can see. Simultaneously, it is taking circular path and moving straight. Simultaneously, both the things is taking place. So, it's moving in a circular path as well as it is moving in a straight line path. You can see here. This is the path called helical path. When the angle of incidence is 0 degrees or 180 degrees, so the particle moves straight line. When it is 90 degrees, it takes circular path. When it is other than this angle, so the particle takes whatever may be the angle, it takes the helical path. Okay, clear? In this helical path, we need to discuss the similar keys. Radius of the circular path. What is that? So here, the radius of the circular path is what? Radius of the circular path here, R is equal to N V. What is V here? V must be the perpendicular to the magnetic field component, right? So that is V sin theta. N V sin theta by Q B. Okay, clear? And time period. What is the time period? So the time period T is equal to 2 pi R by V. What is V here? So V sin theta, because we are talking about the circle. The component which is responsible for the circular motion is V sin theta. So this I can write 2 pi by V sin theta into R is equal to N V sin theta divided by Q B. So V sin theta cancel here. So time period is equal to 2 pi M by Q B. And remember, once again I am telling you, your radius of the circular path only depends on velocity of a moving charge. Time period, frequency, angular velocity will not be depending on velocity of a moving charge. Depends only on specific charge. I am not going to write everything down because already you know the rest of the things, right? So, but one important point you should understand here: in one of the years, there was a question in APMD exam based on this helical motion. So the question is based on pitch. What is that? Pitch. Pitch is the horizontal distance. Pitch is the horizontal distance traveled by a moving charge after one complete rotation. Got the point? Just after one complete rotation, how much is the horizontal distance it is traveled? That's called pitch. You can see here, this is one circle. Alright? So what is the distance traveled from here to here? That is called one pitch. Horizontal distance traveled after completing one circle. So horizontal distance traveled after completing one circle. So we can say this is called one pitch, x. Okay. So what is our pitch? X is equal to, distance is equal to speed into time. Yes or no? Distance is equal to speed into time. So what is the distance? X. X is equal to speed. What is the speed here? So speed, you can say this is a horizontal speed. Understand? So the horizontal speed is v cos theta and time into time. So this is x is equal to v cos theta into time period. You know the time period because for a circle we are finding. So time period will be 2 pi m by qb. So like this, some kind of numericals also will be asked based on this. And next session, so this session, try to understand the maximum number of formulas present here. In the next session, we will be solving the numerical